Good evening, Habs fans. I'm here with Damon. This is producer James. We're throwing together a little post-game show. We weren't really planning on doing it tonight, but couldn't resist, Damon. Things are going too well. It's Saturday night. Everyone's feeling good. That was a nice victory. The Western Road swing, despite that hiccup in Winnipeg, which in itself was sort of a winnable game. Now, we beat Calgary in OT, and then tonight a convincing win against a team that needed the victory, the Oilers. What do you make of this just overall? What's happening here? I think 7 of 8 now are in the win column under Martin St. Louis. This is unexpected, but a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, I kind of knew it all along that this team had talent, but now that St. Louis letting the guys play their own game and playing to their skills and benefiting their game, it's just been amazing to watch. And we're getting to see how good these guys actually are. And as I'm sure we knew under Ducharme, he had a very specific system, and guys such as Caulfield, Suzuki, and the rest of the guys weren't able to play up to their potential. But now so many guys have turned it around, and I can tell you this, so many guys are raising their drafts, their trading stock, I should say.
Yeah.
Which will hopefully get us good draft picks. And it's just been a beautiful thing to watch.
No, it's been fun, and we'll talk. I'll chew a bit of time here while we wait for people to join the stream. And thanks for coming on. You look at Ducharme, and you can criticize, where the team was a few months ago with him, and then where we are now. But I think that playoff run benefited from his stewardship, and now we got to the inevitable need of a guy like St. Louis who can just let these guys run free. Like, you just see the way they get the puck out of the defensive zone, the stretch passes, the urgency, the pressure they put on all the time, always hungry for the puck. And it's because they're not constrained by the system. They're playing within a theme now, and it's just really fun to watch, and I'm really loving it. And you know what, like tonight, I think, because this was a nationally broadcast game, I'm sure people who hadn't watched maybe the Canadiens were surprised to see that this team has a record they have, because the quality of hockey that was being played was not indicative of a team with now 13 wins, I think. So that's cool. Like, it's great to watch, and it's really entertaining. So no matter what, I think we're going to have an entertaining style of hockey under Martin St. Louis. But we've talked a lot about it on this channel. Is this a retool or a rebuild? And now when you win these games, you started getting, accruing this culture and all this. Are you going to start getting into this? Are you going to lose track of, like, we need to blow it up? Or do you say, okay, well, maybe we will keep, Anderson's untouchable, Gallagher's untouchable, Price is untouchable, Suzuki, Caulfield, and then you start going down to the Leckies and the Sherratts. Are these guys going to be traded now? And it's something I want to hear about you watching tonight in the comments, and let us know, like, if you think this is a retool or a rebuild. But yeah, Damon, like, what do you think when you watch? Are some players playing themselves into being untradeable? Is that possible at this point?
I definitely think it is. As I'm sure we know, Petrie, there was a report from Tony Marinaro that he requested a trade in December, but as I'm sure we know, he wasn't playing well at the time, and we do know his family situation with the COVID restrictions and guidelines, so they couldn't come over, and as I'm sure we know, it's difficult. So, and now, like, Petrie is just playing like he's enjoying hockey again, and he's even said that he really likes St. Louis, and he likes the way that they're playing now. And there's rumors that maybe he didn't even want to. He requested not to be traded anymore because he really likes it here so much. So
it was a miscommunication.
You never know. Yeah, miscommunication. Yeah, you never know if he'll want to stay, which I'd be completely open to, because Petrie's a very good right-handed defenseman, and those aren't easy to come by. As I'm sure we know, before Petrie, the last elite right-handed defenseman, I guess you could say, we had was like Shea Weber and PK Subban, like those two. And those don't come by often, but when they do, they're of course very memorable players.
Yeah, our channel goes on fire whenever we mention PK and him potentially coming back. But you made a pretty good point about how the pecking order would look if he came back, because he plays only one side, right? Yeah, quite adamantly, he only plays one side. So you'd have to dump him probably on the second line of defense, and then your second pairing. And would he be down with that? I don't know. Let's not go there. All right. So yeah, and we love the comments. Just keep them coming, guys. We want to hear what you're thinking about the team. All right, so let's just talk about some specifics tonight with the game. I'll start with goaltending. Hamburglar got kind of hurt or Hab burglar, as our own Drew Deeks likes to call him. And he got banged up. We're not sure what his status really is at this point, but Montembeault comes back in and plays a hell of a game. Like, once again, it seems like his confidence over the season has grown. He's someone who the team is happy to play in front of. He's kind of got that Saturday night vibe about him. What do you think where we go with Monty at this point? Because I'm not sure again when Allen comes back or what Andrew is going to do when he gets back from his injury. But is this, to me, he's like, it started off kind of as a waiver wire guy. Now he's playing himself into something a little more than that. What do you think?
I agree. The thing is with Monty, in my opinion, is that he's of course an NHL goalie, and if we put him on the waiver wire again, I see him getting claimed right away. It's going to be
Yeah.
like a done deal the moment he gets put on waivers, because he's shown that he can be a good backup, or if a contending team wants him as a third string goalie, he would be a perfect one. But I definitely think Monty's up here to stay, and also a lot of it depends on Carey Price's status, whether Carey plays this season or not, or whether a contending team wants Allen, whether they want a second and third round pick for him. It's something I've also thought about, but there's a lot of variables in our goaltending situation, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it all turns out.
Variables is a good way of putting it. We're going to bring a caller in tonight. We're going to bring a couple callers in because I think it's been so long since we've done it. But just a couple of things we want to get out of the way first is, the challenges that we're not, they didn't go our way. But, we hate to talk about reffing too much, but I'll point out one particular situation, which was we have a term called being Gallaghered, right? So kind of victimized in a way when you don't get a call or you do get a call against you and it's wrong. So he, in the third period, he flipped a stick as someone who was on the bench and he got delayed. Yeah. So you kind of wonder, like, as Nick was saying in their chat, like, you can't even make this stuff up anymore. Like, he must be the only guy in the league who would get that call. So if you have thoughts about what that was, tell us in the comments. I thought that was crazy. What did you think about the challenges of calls just in general about that part of the game? Kind of in the middle
I think
of the
the
game.
challenges, in my opinion, like I did agree with most of them. Like, I understand the first goal. I think it was more 60-40 that the goal would count. But like with everything that's happened this season and the inconsistencies, in my opinion, with officiating, I would not have been surprised if it didn't or did count, because just of how inconsistent it's been, in my opinion. But I do think they made the right call on that one. And then the second one, the Dauphin one, Dauphin could have just skated a few strides, got back on side, but that was a heck of a play from Armia, because like Armia's been having a bit of a down season, but that was a heck of a play from him, and all credit to him. And he definitely deserves a nice steak dinner for making that play. But of course, that one, in my opinion, obviously was the correct call. And yeah, the coach's challenge, in my opinion, like I do think that it was the right way. Like, it was called well, in my opinion, tonight, but it was just inconsistent, like just generally. So like sometimes, like, we know Gallagher will, whenever play he's involved in, I can tell you if it was another player, usually it'll be a good goal. As I'm sure remember that Tampa game where he got pushed into Maxime Legas or Legacy. I don't know how you say his name, but that goal, obviously, if it was another player, it counts, but if it's Gallagher, it doesn't. But that, in my opinion, that particular play with McDavid having a stick on the ice when he was on the bench, that particularly just should have been either a penalty to both of them, because McDavid had no business having a stick on the ice because he's, of course, on the bench sitting. So, yeah, that could have either been too many men, in my opinion, or that could have just been both of them. Like, I just don't get why they just called one on Gallagher. That was just really ridiculous.
Yeah, we have a term for it, like I said, Gallaghered. I'm actually writing here in the chat right now. Habsnight.net for your Gallaghered t-shirt. 20% off with the discount code Habsitivity. Hot seller a while back. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. It's funny, we got the comments here about the goaltending. First is we don't need Price, and then we've got Monty would be a good backup for Price. So one philosophy here is you can take someone like Montembeault, install him as the backup, and then see if you can shop Jake Allen to someone who needs a goalie. Oh, by the way, we played a team tonight that seriously probably needs a goaltender because Mike Smith did not look good at the end of that game physically. He had the delay of game when he was sort of propping himself up on the net there, and that was was concerning for them. They've got some issues. And then if you were looking at the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight in their game, Campbell is just, ever since his All-Star appearance, has just been in a complete nosedive. And you start to wonder if the pressure playing in Toronto, which is nearly as bad as playing in Montreal, is going to get to these guys, or it's gotten to Jack. It's not looking good, and their backup is not much better. So we're not here to bash the Leafs, obviously, Damon, but wow. There could be some equity out there for Allen, as long as he's healthy, right? And that's something we're still trying to figure out. All right, so we're gonna bring Corey on. Corey's, I believe he's been on the show before, but Corey, how you doing, bud?
Hey, Corey.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Going good.
You got another game going on, or are you rewatching the Habs game? What's going on there?
No, it's just the end of the Boston Columbus game. There, it was tied in the late end of the game there, but Boston just scored, so it's 4-3 now.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Our own Nick Lemire, she got shout out from the Columbus Blue Jackets today for her Rick Nash illustration. So
yeah, I saw that. That was on Twitter, eh?
Yeah, you have to go on Twitter and find it. I'll see if I can bring it up, or she can put it up. But yeah, that was impressive. He was a heck of a player, and obviously, deserves getting his number up in the rafters there in Columbus. What was on your mind? How do you feel in general about since St. Louis been on, and what the team's been able to accomplish here?
Yeah, no, he's a very interesting coach. Like, you could tell just the zone breakout, for example, alone.
Yeah.
Like, you have that one guy going up the middle every time they gain possession. Like, as soon as they gain possession in their zone, you got that one breakout guy that's going right up the middle. And like, that started happening as soon as St. Louis took over, and like, it's working, they're getting really decent chances of that. So happy with that. But overall, like, you just see like the smaller players starting to flourish a little more under St. Louis.
Yeah. And obviously he's opening up the game to them to be a little more creative. Now, this is all fun and good right now, and we're playing teams that need to win. So I kind of feel like, this isn't just a, hey, we've got nothing to lose type of thing. These, like, the Oilers they need to rack up these wins. Like, Calgary wants to win games. So these are not sort of, nothing burger games against, competition that doesn't care. Like, I'm not saying this is playoff hockey yet, but the stakes are a little higher than just whimsically playing teams that don't need to win. So I would say that the proof of concept here is working. His style of game and what he's doing with these guys, I think it could work in a more, successful season longer term. But
in a full 82 game season, like, for sure, because he came in a little late into the season, right? Like, who knows what it would have been like if they had the whole summer to practice under him, and they had the time to understand his routines and like how he wants them to play, right? Like, it could have been a whole different team. You never know.
Yeah. What do you think over 82 games, Damon? What happens if we have Martin St. Louis?
Yeah, honestly, you never know. With a fully healthy roster, we could easily be a playoff team, in my opinion, because this team that definitely has the talent, and you never know how someone such as Jonathan Drouin, we've seen the raw skill that he has. Bingo. We've seen so many flashes, but we just never got him to like consistently get through it. As I'm sure we know, like, he's been through a lot in his time here. We know he's been through mental health, injuries, and sometimes you never know. Just under St. Louis, coach letting him play his game. I believe if he was healthy right now and maybe under a full 82 game season under him, I definitely think he would be ripping the puck in the back of the net a lot in racking up the assists, Joe.
Yeah, no, I agree. So that's my question for you then, Corey, which we'll probably ask for the rest of the season, is how deep into the rebuild do we start initiating things? I was looking at tonight and going, is there a rush to trade certain people? Could you wait till the off season and just let this thing play out a bit more and, build some culture, if you want to call it that, some positivity? Because we're not going to play our way into anything better, maybe the worst, bottom five, right? So, we're not going to win the rest of our games, that's for sure. So what do you think? Like, how do you approach the last third of the season with what's gone on here in the last 8 games?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think, like, you got to let St. Louis just do his thing, maybe, for the time being. Let him work with what he has. But I think the main thing is you kind of got to ask the players. If you're Kent Hughes, you ask the players, do you want to stick around? Do you want to be a part of this team? And see who's really into it. And get a feel that way. And if there's certain players that don't want to be here, they want to be traded to a contender or something like that, trade them away. I mean, as long as they're not the Cole Caulfields or the Nick Suzuki's, those you got to keep.
That'd be a disaster.
But yeah, no, there's a few untouchables, but I think I don't see Ben Sherratt staying. You've heard the rumor mills about him going to either St. Louis or Toronto or something like that. But if he can return something like a first round pick and like a fringe prospect, why not?
Yeah.
I'd take that any day. So I think, but the main thing, like I said, you gotta see with the players, see who wants to stay, who wants to be a part of the team, and then just go from there.
Yeah. What about, we talk about Jake Allen, or what would you do with him?
Yeah, that's it's hard, right? Because I mean, Primo hasn't really shown that he's ready to be a full-time NHL goalie just yet. So when Price comes back, do you just keep rolling with Price and Allen as your 1-2 for next season or whenever it is? Because he's signed for another year after next, right? Or am I wrong with that? Is he just
signed for another year?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess maybe you could send him off to a contender that's looking. But yeah, you know what? I think that would probably be the best bet then. If we don't have him for much longer, then why keep him around, right? You can keep up with just Montembeault as a backup, or but is he going to even be healthy? I guess he was practicing the other day, right?
I think so. I think I saw a video of him practicing, so yeah, I do know he got the injury in July, and they said about 8 weeks for him and David Savard. And I know that he was practicing. I don't know about Savard yet, but I'm pretty sure Allen has just gotten back to skating.
Yeah. So who even knows if he'll be ready to go by the trade deadline, right? Like I haven't heard anything about him personally, and like how far along he is in his rehab. But well, we'll see.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, how many times have we heard Carey's back on the ice doing drills, and then until you're on that game sheet ready to go, it's hard to say where you're at, because you're so opaque about the what an injury is in the NHL, and how people get back and stuff, and what's shared. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, what about Byron? I don't know. Maybe
he's got another year after this year at $3 million, and as I'm sure we know, he's been a good playoff performer. Remembered in 2017 against the Rangers, he was one of our best forwards in that series.
Yeah,
and also I remembered in the bubble, he was one of our better players along with Lehkonen, and even last playoff run, he was like a 10 million player. I'm just gonna say that he was so good in the playoffs for us, Byron. So
yeah, that one goal against the Leafs is worth $10 million by itself. Yeah. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Was it the first game?
Yeah, first game, Sandin trucked
the game
him,
winner,
and yeah, beautiful finish.
Yeah. Well, but it comes back to, so someone was mentioning, size, and we know that that's one of the requisites that Gordon and Hughes are looking at. It, size, speed, skill. Josh Anderson, kind of the prototypical guy, and then you've got the little dudes. And how many of them can you have on a roster, in a modern NHL roster, before you start exposing yourself to a disadvantage, right? You can't have a whole bunch of 5'9" guys, and Byron might be one of those guys where you just say, look, we've already got Cole, Galley's not a big guy. Yeah, how many of these in the lineup can you have before you start getting pushed around? And we're looking to rosters that can play deep into the playoffs. And again, I'm just thinking out loud, but things slow down, corners get greasy. Do you start thinking that you can't just win games, chipping the puck out like I coached minor hockey and younger kids, and yeah, it works, but not necessarily in the playoffs. So that's one of those things you got to think about in the master plan, which I don't think anyone here watching tonight or us here hosting this really even know what the master plan really is just yet. We don't have their war room, their play sheet necessarily as to what they're really looking at, but I do see in the chat here, Lecky, Sherratt, Cashman now. What do you guys think about that? Because you mentioned it already, Corey, but Sherratt's played himself into the crosshairs of many a GM right now and has got value, and Lecky as well. They're both playing great. These are guys that I think you could convert.
I'd be okay. Like I said, I'd be okay getting rid of Sherratt, letting him go. But I would like to see Lehkonen stick around. Like, I think he's that, he's such a versatile player. I think he's a player that you want to have in your lineup when you're making a rebuild and trying to or even trying to do like a retool, you know what I mean? Like he's like I said, so versatile. He's a perfect like third liner. You can bump him up to the second line if there's any injuries, but in an ideal world he would be like the perfect third liner. And I think you can get him for a decent price too. He's still RFA if I'm not wrong, right?
Correct.
So yeah, I think he could be signed for, you sign him maybe 4 or 5 years, and you give him like nothing crazy, but I'd be okay with keeping him around. But Sherratt, I think you could get something good for Sherratt, and I would take that for him, whatever you can get.
Yeah, right on. Just back to tonight's game, a 5-2 victory against the Edmonton Oilers. Quiet game from Connor. It looked like there was, some goaltending issues. Obviously, Mike Smith getting hurt and probably playing hurt to start with. What do you any other headlines from that game, Damon, you wanted to cover tonight on the show? I know we talked about Galley and some of the penalties and whatnot. But anything else you want to talk about? I mean, Suzuki, for those who like to call him by his real last name.
One thing I want to talk about is that save that he made on Draisaitl last second at the end of the first. Is that a save of the year candidate?
Yeah, it was a good save. Very good save.
Yeah. Well, I can't play it, but
I understand. We don't want to get into copyright trouble.
You know who might play it is right here in the comments, Drew Deeks. He's got a awesome we call him our sister channel, Drew Deeks Show. So Drew Deeks is a regular host here on Habs Tonight, but he also hosts a solo show. And he stretches his legs a bit more on that show. We're kind of serious on Habs Tonight. We don't color outside the lines too much, but you can go to Drew's channel and you can get like a more colorful tapestry of Habs coverage. He'll show you
that scary face that just popped up right
there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
A little terrifying.
The Drew Deeks Show, he's got post games and does solo shots, and Drew's a trained comedian and broadcaster, unlike us. We're just a bunch of guys in their basements, but yeah, he knows what he's doing. But yeah, he also is, I think he said tonight, Nick Suzuki has basically sealed himself as the future captain of the Canadiens. That was his assertion. It's not an official party line of Habs Tonight, but I know we've got a divided camp between Gallagherites and Suzukyites. I'm going to come out publicly and state that I think that Nick Suzuki should be the next captain of the Montreal Canadiens. He's my God, he's played his way into it, but also his demeanor. It's two-way player. He's just the perfect guy for it. What do you guys think? I mean, tonight was just a great example. He just did it. He does everything.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, actually. Like, I was at work earlier today, and the thought just crossed my mind. I was like, I wonder who the next captain is going to be. And then watching him kind of put the team on his back tonight, and, you have that goal taken away, and it just didn't even faze him. And he just came back and scored the exact same goal that was just taken away, to give the Habs the lead there. So I think I could see him being a true leader and just very down to business kind of guy. Kind of what the Habs want and need.
Yeah. We're gonna have his parents on the show. We know his parents. They're cool. And we've had Nick on the show too. But if you meet his parents, you realize why he is who he is. He's comes from a good upbringing. And yeah, of course. I mean, Galley for captain next week. We can have that discussion ad nauseum. Like, it's not going to go until it happens. But I would say that we need to have a new captain next season. So we're gonna have to figure out how they're. We know the stories behind. When Subban got, pushed out of being captain in favor of Pacioretty and, that situation, which was handled oddly based on what we heard, but not going to happen this time around. I think it'll be, the way we've seen Hughes and Gordon and the brain trust that the Canadiens work is that things are very transparent up front, and it'll be communicated to the players well ahead of us ever hearing about it. And it'll be, they'll get on with life whenever they decide. But but the predictions vary. Here we got Galley, Edmondson. We'll have debates about this all summer. We don't need to kill it tonight, but Yeah. Any final thoughts there, Corey? Because Damon and I'll probably wrap the show here in a minute, but yeah, thanks for calling in. I mean, we really appreciate you watching the show and obviously chipping in on co-hosting tonight.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I just want to say, I mean, I think you guys talked about it. I might have just been out. I stepped out for a second there, but I think you guys talked about that penalty that Gallagher got for chopping at Derek Ryan's stick. In what world is a player allowed to sit on a bench and have his stick onto the ice?
It's a foreign object. It's a foreign object.
I saw that and I was like, that's probably the most Gallagher thing I've seen yet. Like that was incredible.
Yeah. Next time you'll get a penalty for spitting on the ice. I mean, I just don't get what scenario could present itself that is more ridiculous than you trying to clear airspace on the playing surface in which you're being interfered with by an outside object. It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
There we go. I'm back.
Yeah. Bars for a second, color bars.
Yeah. For some reason, the camera just shut off and it's back on.
You're broadcasting from local news.
Yeah. Yeah. Secretly at my local news station here.
You're Wayne's World. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But no, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully we'll do it again sometime shortly. Next win.
Okay, buddy.
Thanks for calling in.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. I like this justification. Susie might get more pull with the refs and you know what? That actually might be the determining factor, the wedge, that he's going to get more respect from the referees and Gallagher, because Gallagher's just obviously lost it with the referees. Like there's zero respect from them. They don't like him. And it might come to a point where you actually need your captain to have a message received by the referees. So there you go, Damon. That's the wedge right there.
That's actually a good point, because I do know we've seen so many clips where the call goes against the Habs and then Gally loses it, but I don't blame him though. But Suzuki, he was just calm, cool, collected. He's like, yeah, I'll score next few seconds, and then he just ripped it.
Yeah, no doubt. No, that's cool. Just gonna remind everyone, if you're new to the channel, Habs Tonight, we want you to subscribe. We want you to hit that like button as well, the thumb. If you're on YouTube, we really do appreciate it, and we appreciate the comments and everyone tuning in. And if you are as outraged as we are by some of the things that happened to Brendan Gallagher, we do sell a shirt on habstonight.net, and that's habstonight.net. Promo code Habsitivity. I'll put it in the comments here, and that'll get you 20% off. It's basically at cost. So, yeah, Damon, any last points about the game before we ride off into the night?
Got really nothing else to say. Just this has been amazing, especially under St. Louis, and just such a great game. And also, one thing I forgot to mention is Matthew Perreault's 700th game in the NHL.
Yeah, been hanging around. He's been hanging around.
Yeah, he's probably gonna get flipped to the deadline as well, but it's been nice having him.
Yeah, I mean, it's been up and down with him a little bit, but yeah, it's what do you get for a guy like him?
I think you can get like a mid-round pick right for him, but he's
a
pretty
flyer.
playoff
You get a flyer.
experienced.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's I could easily see a team trying to get under the cap crunch. We could easily retain salary. Team trying to get under the cap crunch could easily trade for him. And also Jeff Merrick said about Weber tonight that apparently the Habs might look to trade Weber to get teams that are like below the salary cap to the cap floor.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's look then to a team like the Vancouver Canucks, who were playing on Wednesday. So they beat the Leafs tonight, and they're definitely sellers in the market. Everyone's getting floated there. What are we expecting to see on Wednesday when we play the Canucks?
I think we're expecting to see a good game. We do know that the Canucks have kind of turned it around under Bruce Boudreau, or as I like to call him, Barbecue Bruce. So they've turned it around under him, and
why do they call him that?
Yeah, it's just something you're.
Is he like your roast guys? He's like an old school coach, and he gets ticked off, and he roasts. Like, what's Barbecue Bruce?
It's a joke that Urinating Tree says he's a funny sports YouTuber, and yeah, Barbecue Bruce. It's just because I don't know if I can make it all the way through this one, but
you're dying.
Yeah. It's more of his nickname, but it's just a really funny one that is pretty creative, and the team turned it around under him, and we expect like a lot of guys there in Vancouver to be sold. So I definitely think that this is going to be a good game, but the thing key is with the Canucks is to play a fast game and just to play it with follow the St. Louis plan, and I think we can pull out a W there.
Well, I used to live in Vancouver. I lived there for 9 years, and when that team does not win, nobody shows up. All right, and they don't care because it's nice weather and you can do other stuff, and go on your paddleboard or hang out at the beach and go for a hike. It's not like Montreal or Toronto, big urban centers where people are hockey mad and it's traditional and family and all that. They need to put a winner there for things to keep going, and they really should. Like if them and Seattle get good, that's a really good little corridor of hockey and sports. We've seen it with other sports, and part of me wants it not to be another dumpster fire, but especially when they're in the West and we're in the East, it's not what it was last year. So yeah, whatever. We play them on Wednesday, and I think we could maybe get another dub, but we start asking ourselves, how much more do we want to win? You can still kind of win without winning, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But
moral victories.
Yeah, moral victories. Sprinkle a couple of those in here and there just to make sure we're not climbing the standings too much. But yeah, me too. Yeah. Okay, well, that's it for me tonight. I just want to thank everyone again for watching. Again, we threw this together on short notice. So Damon, I do appreciate you. I think we were just really want to talk about the game, but more so just the team and just reflect on a Saturday night, especially in the world where everything is not great. It's fun to watch hockey and have that escape and just enjoy the game. It's really great. So I hope everyone has a chance to enjoy hockey and hopefully not being impacted directly by what's going on elsewhere. So I'll leave on that happy note, but thanks again, Damon. Thanks to everyone else. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you at the next show.
Take care, guys. Cheers.
Take care. Bye.